everybody.
Hey.
Welcome to Draining the Swamp. Or we might change it to Restocking the Swamp. I don't know. That's Arthur's idea. If y'all like it, let me know. Um, we have, of course, my wonderful co host, Arthur, who's right below me, and Mel, who's off in the corner over here, and the lovely Marina next to me, who's our special guest tonight. And
Thank you for
so
having me. This is a treat. It really
you're
is.
welcome. You're welcome.
Holly
Well,
was
Mel, that came from Mel. He was the one that said, we need to get Marina. Come on. I like to read with Marina. I said,
Oh,
okay.
thank you, Mel.
everybody just kind of went.
Yeah, you froze. You froze and then you unfroze. So it's been happening
Oh, good.
all day long. I think it's something in the stratosphere. It's been happening all day.
It's called early Mercury retrograde shadow period.
Yay!
There you go.
It's called maybe the Starlink will blow up.
There's that. Yeah.
Huh.
You know, it's funny. I had seen massive explosions
Hold on my
around
lip.
a lot of Musk's spaceships, if you will. And it was like a week or two later when that one just blew
The
up.
second one went, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I saw it even before the first one blew up. But anyway.
Well, see, that's what you get when when you concentrate too much on having DEI hires. Things go wrong. She says sarcastically, wink, wink. Yeah.
I have a question. I heard today that Musk said, two questions actually.
Okay.
That Musk said that he didn't quite say it this way, but the implication is if Ukraine wasn't careful, didn't do what he wanted, he would shut down Starlink.
Yep.
And my take on it is if he does, I don't see Ukraine kowtowing to that.
No.
And I feel like there's other countries in Europe that have already said if he does that, then you can use our satellite system for your internet. That's what
technically it's almost like an act of war to actively shut off another country's ability to defend themselves. I mean, technically, legality wise, I mean, I don't know what the wave action is there, but it just feels like that's pushing the wrong button, so to speak. And yeah, that could get him hauled off to the Hague faster than anything else.
Well, if he does that, I intuit, or my guides tell me, I predict that a lot of other countries in Europe will stop using Starlink. And as we speak, a lot of them are figuring out alternative plans. And so I see his Starlink system going right into the toilet.
Yeah.
France has already said that they are launching, it's the EU something link or whatever. Anyway, they've been working on it. They are getting ready to bring it on, or activate it or whatever. So if Musk does say, okay, yeah, no more Starlink, I think France is in a position to step up and say, okay, here you go. We've got a replacement. And by the way, don't bother reapplying. Right. No, we're not interested.
Well, didn't one of the Canadian provinces already cancel their contract with them? So, and I saw an article today that Kentucky bourbon is not a happy camper with Trump and his mess today, because pulling all of their liquor from the Canadian shelves is putting a major hurt on them big time.
Well, it's going to hurt the economy of Kentucky because people go for the Bourbon Trail, which, it's funny when people talk to me about the Bourbon Trail, I laugh because I grew up and I had aunts and cousins and all that who worked in the Jim Beam distillery. And my grandmother knew Booker Noe, who was the last person in charge of Jim Beam before they sold it to Consortium. But, you know, bourbon got really, really big and gained worldwide popularity. But now with this, it's going to be like, mm-mm. So Kentuckians, it's going to hurt, you know, and maybe a lot of people down there that, and Kentucky has a Democratic governor, but maybe some of the folks down there who voted for Trump will, you know, they like their bourbon. It's going to be like, whoa. So there's so many repercussions coming from the stuff Trump's doing. My next question, though, was going to be, Arthur, if you don't mind, I'm going to ask you, and then we'll go kind of round robin. Zelensky is in Saudi Arabia, and I think that Trump wants Zelensky to eat some crow and, oh, you know, I didn't mean it, I'm sorry. And Trump has upped the ante, like he wants more.
Mhm.
And then later on, Trump said, well, I'm going to stop giving intelligence to Moscow. Yeah, Trump, because you've already given it to him. So do you think that Zelensky will sign a deal with Trump? I don't see it happening.
No.
I could be wrong, but he's not going to cave in to Trump.
I don't see it. I don't see it at all. And by the way, going back to Canada and the United States and all that, I went to Starbucks today and asked for a Canadiano. They looked at me strangely.
They did what? I'm sorry?
I asked for Canadiano.
I don't know what a Canadiano is.
Instead of Americano, I asked for Canadiano.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Just kidding. But no, I see Zelensky is standing his ground.
What do you
think? He is getting a lot more support from the European countries, and I think that a lot of people don't realize that as nasty as Trump is, he wants Ukraine's minerals. He wants those rare earth minerals.
Yeah.
So when he says, you don't have any cards to play, you don't have any of this. Yes, he does. Yes, he
and
does.
Bluesky knows it too. That's why he didn't push about signing the thing. Even when they escorted him out, as they put it so gently, I heard that he walked out on him. So whatever, he left.
You know, Shari, you did something that I said earlier on today, and it just keeps resonating so huge with me that I think because of the shenanigans and the BS that Trump is pulling, look what happened in Canada. Even though Musk tried to interfere, you know, the Liberals won by a landslide. I mean, it was a landslide. And I see that happening in Europe. And I see the European Union and NATO vowing to help Ukraine and standing strong. And the reason is because Eastern Europe is nervous. And I talked to some people that I know from Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia, and their families are panicking who live there, that if something happens to Ukraine, that Putin will come through and take republics. And so I think all of those NATO countries are going to stand firm and start building up troops and things like that to send a message to Putin, back the F off. That's what I see.
Mm-hmm. Well, with as much of the strengthening that Biden was able to do with NATO, I think what really kind of set it in concrete, so to speak, was when Trump and party started pulling their crap. First it was the tariffs, and then it was, well, he's bouncing back and forth, and he talks, you know, so demeaningly to Trudeau and to the Mexican president, Sheinbaum. And I think it made others around the world kind of sit up and take notice. And then when they pulled the stunt that they pulled with Zelensky in the White House, I literally, in my mind's eye, I mean, this is what Spirit showed me. I literally saw like red flags of warning going up around the world, and everybody's saying, all right, guys, circle wagons. So it's, I feel like, yeah, that what they thought was going to diminish has had the reverse effect on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Well,
must
not to
kind of
mention-
correct you. It just for a second here. Um, the 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 leader of the Liberal Party was just elected, so he is the replacement to Justin Trudeau, and that was Mark Carney, and he won the Liberal leadership in a landslide. So what happens now is he will temporarily assume the role of prime minister until our next election. And the next election could be called within weeks. So it could be May, June that we as a country then go to vote. And then that will determine what party is going to be in power. One of the things
Okay.
that, one of the things that that galvanized around a lot of the liberals is, Trump's talking points. The way that he has been absolutely disrespectful to Canada. And there is such a stark difference between Mark
We can hear you typing.
Sorry.
Mark Carney and Pierre Poilievre, who is the leader of the Conservative Party. And Pierre Poilievre is basically Trump 2.0 in that he's, he wants to do a lot of the same things that Trump is talking about in terms of, social programs. Well, no, those should be private and so on. That is sacred. Social programs in Canada are sacred.
They were
We
here
will go
too.
to war, over that. Like, no, you're not touching it.
I'm going to jump the line here in questions because Helen just put this up and it just seems to go right in line with what we're discussing right at the moment.
Yeah.
I mean, she's got family there. She's got people serving in the army there, and for a lot of people, not only in Russia and Europe, other European countries, but a lot of people right here in the US and in Canada are either Ukrainian descent or they have family that are still in Ukraine up to their eyeballs in fighting a war. And I apologize for the cat. She's in heat. And she's making me bat crap crazy because she knows I'm on the thing. So she walks on the other side of my panel back and forth and meows at it because it's in her way. If she doesn't want to have to go around it unless she decides she wants to.
Before we answer the question for Helen, I do want to, if we can go back to what Marina was saying about the election in Canada. So I want to kind of hear you finish your thought on that.
Yes. Yeah. We, our election cycle is not that long. We're talking, maybe 4 or 5 weeks. That's it. An election is announced, a date is given, and then boom, boom, boom. It happens very, very quickly. So I think that what we are going to be facing over the next few weeks, month and a half or so, is going to be a lot of talk coming from both sides, but particularly from Poilievre, who wants to paint the liberals as kind of being the bleeding hearts. They spent money there. They put the country into a deficit. They did all these awful, awful things. When in fact, whether you like Justin Trudeau or agree with him, he saved our economy during COVID. And he did that by making sure that people who lost their jobs as a result of COVID, or who, couldn't find jobs as a result or whatnot, that they were receiving, I think, from the government, it was $2,000 or $2,100 a month that was going directly to them so that they could keep up their mortgage payments, so that they could get groceries and so on, so that things didn't fall apart. Now, a lot of people lined up and said, me, I'd like to have one of those checks. And we knew full well that, yes, that was going to affect the deficit and it needed to be paid back. Well, so now they're complaining that, well, Trudeau added so many billions to the deficit. And my response to that is, did you return every penny that Justin sent you during COVID? Because if you didn't return every single penny and say, no, on principle alone, I cannot accept this, then I don't want to hear your sob story. He saved our economy.
I think that they're going to have the elections, I don't know when, very, very soon.
Yes.
And it's pretty obvious that there was no election interference. I mean, well, there was from Elon Musk's side, but that
he's still trying to play like that he could interfere in the Canadian federal election. Now, the difference is we don't vote online. We vote on paper ballots.
But, the Liberal Party won it fair and square.
Absolutely.
And Carney's going to be the prime minister. And
for the next few weeks, yes, he is. I think he has an extremely good chance of coming in with a full liberal government, and that that the position that he is in right now is going to be a lot more permanent.
Well, with this sort of 85.9%. My feeling is he'll get reelected. I mean, the parliament elects them, but the Liberals will still hold Parliament, at least in my opinion.
Yeah.
And whatever the French guy's whatever his name was.
Yeah.
There's not a lot he can say because the Canadian people are banding together about these tariffs. And even if Trump says, "Oh, I'm taking them off," it's still not a win for. I'll just call him Polly.
Too little, too late.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And you're going to take them off today, but then you're going to put them back on tomorrow. Like, no, we don't want to live with that sort of Damocles, whatever, hanging over top of us. So I think the Premier of Ontario is right on when he says, no, you get your power and your gas and whatever from Canada, putting on a 25% tariff, that is going to be effective immediately, and it will not be removed until this tariff nonsense stops.
And I see a leader coming here that is the same as what Carney is to Canada. We will have a very forceful, dynamic leader like that.
Yeah.
In the meantime, we've got Bernie traveling around.
The Dems need to speak up. But anyway,
I'm
sorry, Shari, I didn't. I just
I thought you were done. You froze.
I just want our Canadian friends to know that that the majority of Americans honor our Canadian friends, love our Canadian friends, and the majority of us do not support T. Rump and his stupid tirades. So,
and we know that, and most of us that are on here will go out of our way to make sure that our American neighbors know that, when we boo the national anthem at hockey games or whatnot, we are not booing the American people. We are booing the leader and the administration.
Correct.
Right? There are Americans and Canadians. We've been good neighbors for so long. We've been that neighbor that you can, oh my gosh, I ran out of milk. Can I borrow a cup of milk? Do you have a stick of butter? That kind of stuff. We have stood behind each other. We have done things together. Canadian soldiers died with the American soldiers that were fighting in Afghanistan. So, we have always been there to support the our American friends, and we still consider that Americans are our friends. We
And there were
recognize that there is a big difference between average garden variety Americans living on Main Street and the guy in the White House.
big time. And there were as many retired American vets as well as Canadian vets that went and dug their gear out of their footlocker that they had in their back closet
Yes.
and hauled their butt to Ukraine and went to war for Zelensky in the beginning. I mean,
Yes.
you know, I know several people that did that. It was like, that's commitment, you know. Not that they wanted to go back into a war again, but they just saw that what was happening was that important and that wrong. And you know, we I think that, well, I intuit that a lot of the solidarity that we're getting around the world is all the effect of what Trump and party and Putin and party have tried to do. And it's having the opposite effect on everyone. And I think that is what's frustrating a lot on the other side there is they can't understand why people aren't hiding in their houses or cowering around, you know, afraid to say anything. When you got more people speaking out, you got Bernie going around the country having 4 or 5, 6, 7,000 people showing up for rallies as he talks against the oligarchs and all of that mess.
Yeah.
You've got rumors that Tim Walz is going to run for president for the next election. And, you know, so I think there was a lot of people that were kind of thinking it was going to be Gavin Newsom, but I don't know. I think they're going to want somebody that's a little bit more hardcore in their beliefs.
My psychic prediction is, like I said earlier, is that the Liberal Party will have control of Canada for a very long time into the foreseeable future. I don't see the Maple MAGAs taking over.
No,
I just
from
feel sorry
your
for
guys
Canada.
to universe's ears.
I was
Sorry.
gonna say, I feel sorry for Canada because you guys are like living, you know, the neighbors living above the crack house. So we're sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
sometimes
don't
it
mean
feels
for our smell to get up there. So.
yeah. But, you know, sometimes people, and I've mentioned this on a couple shows previously, sometimes people forget that the reason that there is a Geneva Convention in place is because of Canada and Poland.
Right.
Because during World War I, Canadian soldiers did not have a very good reputation. So that was the need for the Geneva Convention. And sometimes, you know, you just want to remind people that, yeah, other countries use the Geneva Convention as kind of a what not to do. And, you know, there are some Canadians who would see it as a checklist.
Yeah.
So, you know, when we say elbows up, we are polite, we are kind, we are, you know, we honor our commitments and we want to be friends with everyone. It's just, you know, we can only be pushed so far before we say, all right, fight's on. Right?
Yeah.
Canada will not back down, nor will
No.
Mexico to Trump's bullying. And I'm glad somebody stood up to the bully. What was the question about the lady from Poland who has relatives there, Shari?
Let me go back to it. I know I started.
I see Eastern Europe.
Yeah. And several other people have spoken up since then and said, yeah, I've got family there too. So, you know, Helen's not the only one. It was just the first one I saw that, you know, caught my attention.
I predict that with Europe's help, Ukraine can hold the line against Putin.
Yes.
I pray that Zelensky doesn't give in to Trump's Trump's demands, because I watched today on TV, which would really, if Zelensky gives into that, it's really a surrender. And Zelensky, I think, is very bright. He's an actor, and he knows how to play the role, if you will. But
oh, he was brilliant in the White House. I mean, he made a point of whenever he was addressing the American people and not Trump and crew, he was looking dead into that camera. It's something that I still have a hard time doing, is looking into the camera and talking.
Yes,
because I want to look at everybody's face on the screen.
Trump is doing the same thing to Putin. To Zelensky, that Elon Musk threatened to do. Like, if you don't apologize to me, I'll let the Russians take over your country. If you don't do what we want to do, we'll turn off Starlink. And it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, I can see the Canadians. If you don't do what we want to do, we're turning off the power.
Yeah. Exactly.
That message has already been sent.
Yeah. I know delivered.
Somebody in one of the leadership somewhere up there made a statement this morning about it may be time to just turn the power off, y'all, and deal with it yourself.
Poland will stand up to Putin, as well as a lot of Eastern European countries. Europe will stand up to Putin. Well, there's a handful of countries that won't, but the rest of them will, because they don't want the former Soviet Union back. They don't want, and people in this country talk about socialism and communism, but yet many of those people, the MAGAs that talk about, they're supporting an authoritarian. It doesn't matter whether you're left or right. You're still authoritarian, Donald.
Yeah, exactly.
And all of those in the Polish army, dziękuję.
Yes. There is a lot of Europe that I think is going to stand with Ukraine and is going to back Ukraine. France has already said, we'll put boots on the ground. Poland is sort of recalling a lot of their population for military training or retraining, just to be ready, because they know if Ukraine falls, they're next.
Well, hell, you got Norway and Greenland and Sweden and all of those countries that are getting their armies up and ready and ready to go at any moment, because they're like, if he even thinks of taking a step in this direction, we're going to smash him.
Well, when Hitler took power in Germany, the same rhetoric that's coming out of Putin and out of this country, which is very, very frightening. But, everybody was afraid of Hitler. So they just kind of let him do what he wanted. And especially when he went into Czechoslovakia, into the Sudetenland, which was part of Czechoslovakia at the time, because he said, well, there's German speakers there. And everybody was like, okay, yeah, all right. Mm-hmm. Even the United States. And then he swept through Czechoslovakia. And then guess what? Poland was next.
And
that's what Putin plans to do.
And people in Poland know their history.
Correct.
Not going to let it repeat.
That's right.
And that's where a lot of my relatives fled.
And then when he invaded Poland, that was the start of World War II. At least the United States wasn't at that point.
Yeah.
But then, Hitler had that non-aggression pact with Russia. And then he invaded Russia in the winter. That was the winter really helped to bring about many years later the defeat. So I get what Zelensky is saying. Like, okay, you can promise that you won't let Russia do this, or that.
They've done it before.
Right.
Exactly.
What guarantee do I have? And then Trump, when a reporter asked that, Trump says, well, what guarantee do you have that a bomb won't go off over your head? Well, that's the guarantee we're asking for that won't.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, past projecting.
Yeah. Past actions are usually a very good predictor of future actions.
Ding, 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 ding. Yep.
Putin
exactly.
He wouldn't go into Ukraine if they didn't join NATO. And what excuse did Putin use? Oh, well, because there's Nazis there. Excuse me?
Excuse me. Yeah, exactly.
But yet, they sanction the.
Oh, Mel,
You're
you
freezing
froze.
up again, Mel.
Technical difficulties.
I'm sorry?
We're having
Say
technical
it again.
difficulties. You froze up.
I said, but yet Putin sanctions the neo-Nazi party in Germany.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
I
does,
like what Water Lily said. She said she had a dream about a bear underwater. Doesn't remember the rest, but I saw the bear underwater in the ocean twice. Me thinks
you
you've been
rush out
given
to
a
stop
message.
using gummies.
I like the gummies at nighttime, hon. Don't give those up.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I would say
Don't give 'em up.
hang on to your gummies and just
Yeah.
tell spirit.
And keep on to your
Be a-
journal.
Yeah.
Writing those dreams down.
Exactly.
That would make sense, because I think most readers, we associate Russia with the bear,
Exactly.
right? And that we years and years ago we're talking about, don't poke the bear, which was, don't provoke Russia. So dreaming about a bear underwater is kind of symbolic in that Putin doesn't have the power that he claims he has.
See, I believe in a lot
This
of it.
3-day war is going on 3 years.
I believe in a lot of the Native American ways. The bear is the
Yes.
direction of the West, which is introspection. And it also might seem like Ukraine might be drowning, but they won't.
Mm-mm.
And bear is warrior spirit, but in a good way, because when bear wakes up from hibernation, mama bear is hungry. She wants to feed her cubs, and she's very protective of them.
Yes.
And one swipe from mama bear. And so I see actually Ukraine becoming a bigger bear. And I see that bear paw and just swiping Russia and just shreds it. So
Absolutely. I
that's how I
will wholeheartedly agree with that. Yeah. It's Putin is on borrowed time. And I've said before, look out, especially the other day when Trump came out and he said that he was considering additional sanctions on Russia.
Yeah, that's my point. That's when he said that. I'm considering. Well, what does that mean? Because you've already given them our secrets. You've already given them military aid.
Thank
and that's
you.
all
Yeah.
gonna come out.
Just because he says stuff doesn't mean it's true.
Right. Well, I'm considering it. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
There's a lot of people considering doing something to you, but there's laws.
But we're focusing on that. But what about how he's dismantling every department in America?
Exactly.
The jobs
Right,
cutting,
exactly.
but
Everything he's dismantling, if you look at it, is because they're going after Elon Musk. Every department that Elon Musk, they have problems with Elon Musk and finding him and doing investigations. He's closed all of those departments.
Yeah. That's who he's going after.
Trump's
On a lighter note, just real quick, since we're talking about Zelensky, Mercury Angel said, "Yeah, but he's an incredible dancer."
But I think that Arthur, back to what you were saying, Trump has spent more money during his first regime than any president in American history for BS stuff. And now, Musk and Trump, well, we got to tighten the budget. Trump's rhetoric now, and some people are drinking the Kool-Aid, well, it's waste in government spending. Okay, there is
a 7-year-old boy who's autistic. They're taking away his medication. They're taking everything away from him. There is
That's waste. Yeah.
There is some waste in government spending, yes. But now Trump is talking about waste in government spending and talks about no deficit, but yet he's $3 trillion short because he can't afford, with all the cuts, to even still give his rich friends the tax breaks. So he's spending more money than any president in American history again.
Yeah,
exactly. And why does he have to every weekend go from Washington, pay for the trip so that he can golf on the weekend? Right. Is golf not available in DC? Are they that primitive?
Well,
How
New
many
Jersey's
jobs?
closer.
How many
Yes.
jobs would his frivolous spending like that?
Yes.
How many people would that employ? So they can't talk about government wasteful spending. Some people drink the Kool-Aid, but I see a lot of politicians standing up and calling him out on that.
Are they still charging the Secret Service to rent their carts to follow him?
Oh, I'm sure. Double the normal price, which is what they
Correct.
did the last time around.
No, Elon
Um,
just bought them and has a contract with the government. And they pay
And
him
leases them.
5 times the amount. That was a joke. That wasn't true.
I know.
Yeah.
He's
No.
Well, it's just like with these gold cards, he wants to,
Oh, my Lord.
allow for people to buy their citizenship. It's like, okay, where does that money go?
I'll give you
Who
3
gets the
guesses.
money for this gold card? Is this going straight into the president's pocket? Yeah, exactly. I haven't heard anybody ask him that question yet.
He
Well,
does
who gets
that.
the
I
money
think
for that?
if he does that, I feel the courts will block it. Or
Yeah.
if you get through at some point, those green cards will be, or gold cards will be revoked because they bought them.
right.
Exactly.
It was criminal activity. And so-
Exactly. Paid
And here
for
there's
by
people are
proceeds
walking
of
900
crime.
miles to get into the country
Yes.
with their children in tow, and they're just going to flat out buy their citizenship for either $1 million or $5 million.
$5 million he was talking
Their
about.
gold card and $1 million for a green card.
Well, with what Trump is doing, there's nobody waiting in line to come here anymore. And a lot of Canadians have canceled their trips to here, and a lot of Mexicans, they have too.
Most
And
other countries
Canadians
have
are going to
issued
Mexico, the
warnings
Mexicans are
to
going
their
to Canada.
people.
Hold on. Arthur, what were you saying?
There was a report that said most of the Canadians now are going to Mexico, and most of the Mexicans are going to go visit Canada.
Yeah, they just bypass in the middle. I was just saying that.
The crack house.
Yeah, totally. Now, one of the things
I don't
that,
remember what I was saying. Anyway,
I saw a video, and I'm going to try to remember where I saw it, and I can share it with you guys if you wanted to take a look at it. But it was Trump meeting with a spokesperson for FIFA, the soccer federation and whatnot. And yes, this guy was talking about how fabulous it is that, the FIFA World Cup is going to be, played in 11 cities in the US, and it's going to bring millions and billions of dollars, through ticket sales and so on and so forth. Now, first of all, yeah, you hope that that's going to happen. I don't think that it will.
So,
The second thing was at about, I think it was about 2 minutes in, that Trump said, yeah, I started this, first time that I was president, and I was working on making this happen. And then, I thought I wasn't going to be here, but they told me we fixed the election and I'm back.
wow.
And I thought,
he has said
you
that
said it out
several.
loud.
Mm-hmm.
He said it several times out loud on camera. He's talking. He was just last couple of weeks, last week before last. Hell, I can't even remember anymore. They're all running together.
I know.
Where he was talking, he was in Pennsylvania and was talking about, oh well, yeah, I sent Musk over here, and because he knows all that computer stuff, and he came in and fixed everything, and we won, of course.
Well, he's almost confessed to tampering with an election. But
Several times.
Yes.
I saw Glenn Kirshner today, and it's like,
He's amazing.
if Trump keeps giving the middle fingers to the courts and doing what he wants, then who goes after him? And I can't remember exactly what Glenn Kirshner said because I was in a hurry to do the show, but look at his last video, and he explains that there are things in place to hold Trump in contempt, and anybody else who gives a middle finger to the court.
Yeah.
So I'm glad
And right now he's really pushing it when it comes to his relationship with Roberts. I mean, the fact that he used that excuse for his speech to Congress and then made a point of telling Roberts, oh, thank you. You got my back. Yeah, I appreciate all you're doing for me. Roberts looked like he wanted to deck
it.
him. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
he looked like he was ready to go through the floor. He was not a happy camper with that statement.
So
Yeah, and
I couldn't watch it. I'm sorry. I watched the first until Alvin was
I've only seen clips.
kicked out.
just watched the clips long enough to name Johnson. His new name is Bobblehead.
Yes.
I only watch the clips that Mary Trump puts up because she changes his voice to this cartoon voice, and it's the only way I can listen to him now is with that voice. I can't listen to him otherwise.
Candace C. has a good question. She says, how about discussing the futures of Democratic leaders? Cory Booker.
There's several.
Chris Murphy. Enough of Trump doom and gloom. Let's find the light, please, and thank you. Good point.
Yes.
Well, I see Cory Booker is going to be even more outspoken.
Yes.
So will AOC.
Don't forget Jasmine Crockett.
As they should. As they
Jasmine Crockett
Yeah.
and
Jasmine Crockett. She's
what's his name? The little guy, Moskowitz. That's his
from
name.
Florida.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
the other guy from Florida, Jeffrey Wright. No, that's an actor. But you know,
and there's another guy from Texas that's real outspoken, like Jasmine Crockett is over there, and it's like, damn.
I'm so vocal and standing up against Trump's tyranny. And then Candace says, if anyone mentions Trump's downfall or demise, you must then read on Vance, who is every bit as bad. I see Vance having his downfall as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
I see him as a co-conspirator, and he goes down. Sorry.
Bingo.
Yes.
Absolutely. And then
I really am.
So
Terry added to that. What do you think of Vance's wife? She's okay with what he's doing.
Of course.
She's miles ahead of him intellectually.
Yes.
And it wouldn't surprise me in the least if she wasn't the one that kind of set him up with Mr. Thiel and you go play with your friend Peter over here so I can get the work done. That's what I get.
JD Vance, though, is bright. He went to Yale. So, don't underestimate his.
No, he's not stupid, but
it's just how he uses it.
Yeah, but some people are book smart and some people are,
But here's my point with all of that. JD Vance is not dumb. He's smart. And that's what makes it worse.
Yeah.
Because he intellectually knows what he's doing. Trump is so impulsive and so sociopathic and so egotistical, narcissistic. Well, I'll change my mind. I just won't do this with Russia. Well, I'll just won't. In 1 second after the other.
James Carville talked about Trump this week, and he said there's a saying in the South, something ain't right with him.
Yeah.
He's not right.
That boy ain't right. That boy ain't right. That's what we say. Yeah.
Vance is a lot more calculated.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Especially after calling him Americans Hitler, and now he's like, the vice president.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right in that he is more dangerous than Trump. But he doesn't have Trump's popularity. Like he has no Mega do not like him. Not at all. I mean,
the people at Living Spaces like him, but that's another story.
Mm.
The people that selling couches at Living Spaces like him, but that's another story.
Yes.
He's heterosexual.
Yes, exactly.
Political doo-doo. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's an emoji for that.
Yeah, they certainly are.
My friend Corey Aid, I got to bring this up. Plane crash that happened over the Potomac that a helicopter ran into.
Yes.
It was American Airlines flight 5342. And she is an Olympic coach.
Oh, wow.
She makes these dog tags, and it's got like a little skate on it. You can see.
Mm-hmm.
And she knew all the skaters on that plane and the coaches. And so
that's excellent.
So she makes these tags with the flight number on it, and it says passion, love, strength, and grace forever in our hearts. And
Yeah.
that's what I see coming to us again as a country.
Yes.
But Corey, thank you for this great work. She made that. She was in my office Sunday and yesterday, and she gave me one of these. And I think, yeah, they raise money for the families of these skaters and all that stuff. So, Corey, keep up the good work, girlfriend. And she's a cancer survivor. So
God bless her.
Yeah.
So that's somebody that already knows what it is to be down at the bottom of the trenches and fighting your way out.
Exactly.
You know,
she never lost hope, and she never became a victim. And you know what she said was, these people are saying, "Oh, I don't know if I can do it or not." She's like, "Then don't do it."
yeah. If you can't commit, go
Then
waste
don't
time
do
in
it.
somebody else's time.
Correct. And I told her I kind of wanted to get back to skating, but I don't know. I've got some problems with my left side. And she said, "You really should get back on the ice." And I'm going to start again.
I've never done ice skating before. I've done regular skating when I was like 12 to 15. I even had my own skates.
Yes.
My distant cousin was in the troupe with Sonia Henning in all the movies.
Oh yeah.
Oh, love it.
Anyway, I just want to say,
I think that's wonderful. That
Thank you for sharing that, Mel.
Something that
is she selling
That
them
was
or just
wonderful.
making one or two?
I will find out if she's selling them.
yeah, because
I hear something. We'll put it up there.
that's something we can all push out there, you know, is
Absolutely.
raise money for these families. Absolutely. Yeah.
Mhm.
Something that caught my eye, Julian Newell was talking about all of these town halls. Republicans are starting to stop doing the town halls because they're just getting attacked. They don't know what to do. They don't know what to say. I mean, because they're being fed their own words right back to them. Well, now you've got AOC, Jasmine Crockett, several of the others that are all saying, hey,
Bernie
if your
Sanders.
Republican representative doesn't want to do a town hall, call my office. We'll come do one.
And they're going to do a lot more of them.
Oh, yeah.
And then the Republicans will say, well, look what they're doing. They're unfairly representing us or whatever. They'll become a victim again.
Yes.
You know,
I don't think it'll work this time.
Showing that things really.
A town hall is a town hall. It doesn't matter.
Yes. It shows some of those MAGAs and Republicans running away from those town halls. And then one of them said, oh, we're not going to do town halls anymore. Well, guess what? It shows that they don't have a certain part of the anatomy to defend what they swore they were for.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
jellyfish.
Yeah. And you know what? If the Democrats have a town hall, the Republicans can't have a problem with it because I'm sure the Democrats would invite them.
Correct.
That's what I would do. I would say, hey, I'm having a town hall in your area. Would you like to join me?
Oh, absolutely.
And make sure that it's very, very public. Would you like to join me? Come on over. Let's have a chat. Because you know they're not going to show up.
Well, they might paper the house with some hecklers, but okay, let them heckle. You know?
That's fine.
You know, when you were talking, Marina, it just hit me. My flash cube went on. That there's going to be a lot of the Dems and independents with this grassroots movement, like Bernie Sanders is doing.
Yes.
And people we've talked about in the Democratic Party. This grassroots movement is going to avalanche.
Yes.
You know, Trump is trying to spin everything. Well, just be patient. Just be patient. It takes time for these things to take effect. Excuse me, DW.
You said on day one.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Excuse me, DW Trump. Look up DW. You'll figure out what it means.
Yeah.
You know, in the few months you've been president, you've cut federal jobs. You've let Elon Musk run the country. You have tried to get rid of every department in this country.
Yeah.
You have ignored the courts, and you have
Threatened the press.
Friends to the north and the south. You're trying to run the press, and you're telling us to be patient, that your programs are going to work. They're blowing up in your face, stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see, like, remember in the Three Stooges with the cigars?
Yeah. And I think
And you would see the curled black edges coming back from the
That's
cigar, and their face
Yeah,
would be
yeah,
all black.
exactly.
Yeah.
and there was can't remember who it was that just I think posted on either Truth Social or on X about shut up about the price of eggs already.
That was Trump.
Oh, that was Trump. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Hey, you're the one who brought it up. You're the one who brought up how people can't afford eggs.
Groceries.
I'm
It's a
gonna do
simple
this.
word. Remember that speech?
Yeah.
But then I heard today that the DOJ is going to start looking into the price of eggs. Of all the things they should look into, they're going to look into the price of eggs.
Because that's important. That's really, really important. You know, there's it more, and as more time goes by, it's kind of like confirmation for me that I've been seeing for a while now that
I'm sorry,
Right?
whoever's typing, we can hear it.
Oh, sorry, that was me.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
that yeah, I've been saying for a while that as all this stuff is happening and things are coming out, I have seen it as humorous in a lot of ways, because you can, you know, what they're going to say, what they're going to do is so predictable that it almost allows people on the other side to, you know, put everything in place so that when they actually do step into the, you know, the cow patty, something can be done. This, yeah, Trump is not, he's not going to be around that much longer. He really isn't. And I think there's a lot, things are going to start to change when a lot of the mega folks, when, you know, Mima and Papa don't get their Social Security check. When they try to go get a prescription, it's, what do you mean I'm not covered anymore? Until that happens, they're not going to get it. They're still in that mindset that, well, you know, but I voted for Mr. Trump. He'd never do that to me. He knows I'm on his side.
Yeah, right.
Then they go to the pharmacy and it's like, your money or your life.
Yes. Yeah. Well, exactly.
You know, I think what's happened in this country, and it happened in Germany when the Nazis were in power, we've become so insensitive to, you know, Trump's, I don't want to say shenanigans, but to his insanity.
Yes.
That we've become so desensitized to it that it almost seems like a normal state of being. And the message is we must not become insensitive.
Yes.
Because in so doing, you know, we tend to turn our backs on the bigotry, the racism, you know, because the things he's doing are so outlandish. And that's exactly what he wants. You know, things are so outlandish when he finally does this that a long time ago we thought was outlandish, where we've become desensitized to it. It's like, well, at least he did that instead of this, but he's going to try this down the road too.
Yeah.
And so we must not. And Canadians didn't become numb or insensitive to the insanity.
Yeah.
What we need is Susan Powder. Remember? Stop the insanity.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Like every time you turn on the TV, her face was there screaming at you.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Old Windwalker says, do you see a change in how our government is structured? Mainly instead of a president, the executive branch being a group of people. I don't see that.
No, I don't see that.
No, you'd have to have a whole.
They're trying really hard to restructure it now, but I don't think they're going to be successful. I really don't feel like they're going to be successful at it. And I think one of the backfires that's going to happen because of this is going to be the fact that a lot of people that never bothered to care before are suddenly going to start looking into, well, exactly how does our government run? What do you mean you have to go through this and this and this to get here instead of just a direct route? I mean, it truly is frightening when you try to have conversations, and believe me, I'm surrounded by these people down here, who have no clue how our government works. They have no clue how a bill becomes law. They just don't get it. I was listening to a podcast this morning at work, and this caller, it was a call-in show, and this caller called in talking about, well, y'all just all up on Trump, and you haven't even considered the fact that you're even allowed to come on air and talk about this without being arrested. I mean, the guy was like every talking point you could think of.
Yeah.
He was repeating. And the host tried several times to say, wait a minute, let's take this one topic at a time. We'll have a conversation about it. And the guy just wouldn't, he wound up just hanging up on him. He was like, okay. He's like, I'm more than willing to have the argument or the conversation with somebody who sees it differently, but you have to be willing to listen to our side as well as us listen to your side. It's a two-way street. And that's the
It's a case
problem
of
right
being
now.
informed rather than just opinionated.
Well, look at what Trump is
Yeah.
doing to the people who speak up against him. Like today, I heard
That was one of the things the host brought out this morning.
today there was a Palestinian student activist that was arrested by ICE, and the guy had a green card.
And they're going to try and deport him. And now the judge is saying no.
Well, I was just going to say that at first they tried to say that they used one excuse, and they said, we're revoking your green card. And I put here in my notes, that's retaliation. But I also put in my notes, they can't just revoke somebody's green card without going through adjudication, without going to court.
Exactly.
And Arthur, what did you say about that? That a judge said they can't do that?
A judge put it on hold. Said, we got to look into this. It's not, they won't let him arrest him.
Good. Because,
And
he lives in this country. He's got a green card. He didn't do anything illegal. I might
except
not,
be Palestinian.
I might not agree with people who protest, and I might not agree with MAGAs and all of that stuff. But I would never pull somebody's green card or deport them because they took part in a MAGA rally.
Correct.
Yep.
You just don't do
Listen,
that.
I will disagree with you 1,000%, but I will defend your right to be stupid until my dying day.
Well,
Exactly.
what they did is unconstitutional because it says that you can make reprisals or criticize the government. I'm sorry, you can criticize the government without fear of reprisal from the government.
Yes.
And that's a clear-cut constitutional violation, what they did.
Well,
And they just don't care.
well, that's what they tried to do with AP by throwing him out of the White House because they used Gulf of Mexico instead of Gulf of America.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
And
Well, if anybody wants some good news, eventually we will be reading an obituary.
yes, we will.
Who's? I'm not going to say.
And if we're lucky, maybe several.
Oh no, the career is dead. They're still alive, but their career is dead.
Yes.
That's fine. I don't care. Either one would work. I have to say, I'm kind of gobsmacked right now. We just went over 500 and who's in the chat. I've never had 500 people in my chat at one time before. Which is why it's like zoom, zoom. Every time I look and try to catch something, it's
so does gobsmack mean you got smacked in the gob?
yeah.
Yes.
She's chuffed.
Yes. Protect your God.
Got smacked in the gob, y'all.
Oh my God, the Gulf of Cheetolini. There you go.
Can we say that out loud? I just call it the Gulf, formerly known as the Gulf of Mexico.
I still call it the Gulf of Mexico.
Yes. And I received a little thumbnail from my cousin in Croatia, of all places, the other side of the world, in Europe. And this thing said he wanted to name the Gulf of Mexico after himself, but the Bay of Pigs was already taken.
The Bay of DW was already, somebody was waiting in line for.
And I also like when your cousin sent you the note saying that the employee of the month.
Oh, yes, employee of the month. And that was, Putin sitting at his desk with Trump behind him. And then the other one was, the first release of the Putin-Trump wedding pictures. Trump made a beautiful bride. Beautiful bride. And
was
then,
Elon the flower girl?
No, you didn't see Elon in there. He could have been somewhere behind, in the audience or what. But yeah, and the funniest thing to me is that these things are coming to me from Europe. Yeah. It would be funny if they came from my subscribers, or if it came from a Canadian or an American. Yes, I would still laugh. But this is the other side of the world laughing at Trump.
Everybody's laughing at him.
Yeah. Like,
by the way, are you guys fans of Randy Rainbow?
Oh, yes, I love
Randy
him.
Rainbow.
His newest one is
hilarious.
He sits down with Trump and his wife, Elon.
Yes.
Here's one.
Donald Jessica Trump.
I think we touched on it earlier. It's from Dawn Turner. It says, "Hello, ladies and gents. It's a beautiful group to watch." Marina, can you please explain what happened with Carney and that it's not exactly the full federal election? I think I confused him. So I think Carney, didn't he just take over because Trudeau resigned as of a certain date and Carney was voted in to fill that gap?
Yes. Yeah. It's kind of like, okay. The Liberal Leadership Convention would be like, you go to the DNC convention and there's certain people there, that are running that want to represent the party. And then you have, usually it takes several votes and until everyone kind of gathers around a leader. In this case, Mark Carney just landslide victory on the first ballot. The very first ballot.
So we'll call it the conclave. How's that?
Yes. Yeah. So that's what it is. He is now the representative of the Liberal Party. And when we go to vote in the election in the next 4, 5, 6 weeks, what happens is we vote for local representatives. And there are 338 seats in Parliament, in the House of Commons. The winning party, if more Liberals get elected to Parliament, then the Prime Minister of Canada is a Liberal because it's the party who goes with them. 170 of the 338 seats means that we have a majority government and things go on. Anything below 170, but more than the other parties that are running combined, then we have a minority government. So the guy with 150 votes has to start kind of dealing with the NDP or the Green Party, depending on how many seats that they got. And then it's like, okay, well, I've got 150, you got 23. So, can we form almost like a little coalition, right? Where we will support each other and so on.
Well, my feeling is that, as I said, the Liberals and Carney in the federal elections is another landslide. They're going to nail it. I do think that Musk will try to interfere. Yes, but that's going to come to the surface. So.
Yeah. And if y'all really want to get a really good grip on Canadian Parliament and how their country kind of functions and whatnot. Marina did a wonderful series of videos a week, 2 weeks ago, I think it was. I don't remember how many videos. I watched them all because it was so interesting. Because I was like, wow, I never knew that. I didn't know that's how that worked. It just, I was clueless. I mean,
Yeah.
so, but it's really interesting.
Sherry,
So, you can check her out on Heart Centered Tarot.
that's a good point.
Thank you, Sherry.
I
You're
think that's a good point. Thank you, Marina, for doing that, because many Canadians know how things work here. Many of us, myself included, don't necessarily know how things work in Canada. But what's so important is we should educate ourselves.
Right.
Because what happens here can very easily happen there, or vice versa.
Exactly.
And the one thing that's banning and holding us together is our mutual dislike of Trump and the ultra MAGAs.
Yes.
And we can support Canadians and not allowing the Mabel MAGA, Volpo, whatever his name is,
Yes.
take power there. So, one hand holds the other.
Exactly.
And always will, Donald. Always will.
Always.
Exactly.
Always.
And when you look around,
fight with us, elbows up. Yeah.
there you go. I mean, just in our community alone, I mean, how many readers, really gifted readers, do we have that are from Australia or New Zealand or Portugal or, England, or, I mean, from around the world, who have a complete grasp on how we function as a country and how everything is affected, where the majority of Americans don't even know that.
Yeah.
That's what it's like. We really need to go back to teaching our children government class, and how government works.
Well, that's why one's get rid of PBS so they can't play Schoolhouse Rock anymore.
Exactly. Yeah.
I've got to run, guys. I hate to do this.
I just looked at the clock. It's a little over an hour here.
I was late, and I apologize.
This has been so much.
You're forgiven.
Thank you.
It has. Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me. I mean,
thank you for coming on. We love having you on with us.
Marina, we got to do this again.
Yeah.
We will.
Sherry, we should have her on the other side of the coin as well.
Absolutely. I voted for that right from the beginning. So yeah. And Marina brings a lot of good stuff to the conversation.
Oh, yeah.
She knows what she's talking about. And that helps. I mean, just like with all of y'all here. I mean, it's why I wanted to kind of put us together, is just because we all kind of come at it a little bit differently, but in a very interesting and snarky kind of way. So, that makes it fun.
You like
it? It does. Don't take it too seriously. No one gets out of line. We're going to be just
God,
fine.
no, you can't take it too seriously. You'll give yourself a heart attack.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
All right,
guys. We're going to get on the other side of this, and we're going to go, ooh, what a ride. Yeah.
I'm telling you.
I want to have you on with Arthur and myself. I want to have you on my show. I want to do a lot.
There you go.
Anytime. Anytime.
So Arthur,
have a wonderful evening. Thank you, everybody, for joining.
Sorry.
Arthur, tomorrow night, who's on whose channel?
I'm on yours.
Okay. I won't call you at 6:30 in the morning.
Thank you. Yeah, you guys. Did I wake you? No, I had to get up to answer the phone.
Yes.
Do you have Adrian for backup? Or do you need me?
No, Sherry, you can pull the strings.
Okay. All right. Just
Sherry,
send me the link.
Man behind the curtain.
I'm the puppet master. So thank y'all, everybody, for coming. Thank you so very much for your wonderful input and questions and whatnot. Y'all have a great evening.
Thanks all.
Bye.